Okay, so now we're going to start to reassemble. When you do these, they're always a little awkward because you have to have the screen in the right position to get everything to thread back into place. And it is just a case of a little bit of a fiddle and a jiggle. So what I'm going to do, I've got that to line up there. So I'm going to start putting the screws back in. I'm not going to tighten these right up. What I want to be able to do is to close the hinge down so that we can get into a more comfortable position. What I want to be able to do is close the hinge down so we can get into a more comfortable position. Now what we've got here, look, on this one, as you can see, there's a little bracket that holds the Wi-Fi antennas. So again, just lining everything up. We're essentially tightening these screws up finger tight. No, that one don't want to go in, so I'm just going to loosen that. Just let's everything move around a little bit. There we go. And we'll put this one in. I'm going to hopefully now they're tightened up enough that I can shut down. Yes, I can, and then we can come back to each of these two sides and just give them a little bit of love and a little bit of a readjust. So you see that screw I was fighting with has gone in off level. Now I'm able to level it out. I can tighten them in properly. Same here. Screws in. Put them away. I'm going to go back to the small one. I'm going to put these little trims back in. One goes here. Okay, you need to make sure it falls underneath here before you tighten it up. And we'll do the same here. One goes in here. Just sort of line it back into place. Again, it sort of gets caught as you put it together. And there we go. Okay. So I think for me, the first thing I want to put back in is the motherboard. Try not to drop your radio, Mike. Okay, so we've got the motherboard. Before I put it back in, I'm just going to clean this off. All I'm using is a bit of blue roll. Now, there's people out there that will tell you need to use alcohol on it and this and that, but what you need to do is clean the dies. This bit around the edge does nothing. The part that gets hot is that shiny bit in the middle. As long as you've given that a clean, you're going to improve the way the machine works. Now, what I did do with this before taking it apart is I've actually done a score on it. So before I go any further, I'm going to put plug the power jack back in. So I'm going to reconnect the power jack to the board. It was like that. There. That way then we haven't got to try and work underneath to get it back into place. We've got to be aware there's a plug there that we've got to reconnect. A plug here at the back. Wi-Fi cables. So 1, 2, 3. In my instance, I'm going back to the one I've took off. I've got one here, one here, one here that come from underneath. So yes, 3 cables. Okay, that pushes back into place quite nicely. Gotta get the obviously the power jack back into place. The first thing I'm going to do is screw the power jack down because that was the last thing I unscrewed. Got 4 screws that came out of the motherboard. One went here. There's 2 long ones across the back here. I'm doing at this stage, I'm not tightening these up, I'm just putting them in place. Because by the looks of this motherboard's got a little bit of movement as to where it will sit. Sorry, I forgot it's a Mac, it's a logic board. Okay, so these are the fixed ones, there's no movement on them, so I'm just tightening them up, what I would describe as firmly. Okay, I'm happy with that. So, because the thing I'm most worried about on this is the Retina display, the first thing I'm going to do is reconnect that. It appears the cable has to hook underneath here. I hope that's in shot. And then plug in. It is a little fiddly and a little delicate, I would describe it as. Okay, but once it goes in, you know what? It goes in quite nicely. Because I'm leaning over, I'm going to try moving my radio mic because I'm a bit concerned that I'm squeezing it down. Let's put the keyboard in, lift that up. Plug that back in. It looks like there's a little line on it. Clip that down. Yep, that's gripped it. We'll put that back over that. I'm not going to put that back in. This one here, I'm going to have to find something to connect that up with. I've got one here, which we're just going to There we go, line back up and it just pushes in with your thumbnail. Quite a nice connection. Obviously that's the speakers. I think that is the backlighting for the keyboard. Not entirely sure what that does. Could be the Bluetooth or the camera or something. What's next? I think we'll put the speakers back in because they were a couple of quite large modules. I want to find something to plug that in with. I think maybe a pair of long nose pliers or some tweezers. So, okay, I'm going back with you in a couple of seconds. Okay, I've got a speaker module here. Right, so what I'm going to do with this, I want to just knock the screws out of it, and then I'm just going to knock the dust off it with a paintbrush. Okay, I've just given that a light dust with a paintbrush. Now obviously you don't want to use a paintbrush on anything that might be static sensitive, but a piece of plastic with a loudspeaker in isn't static sensitive. I've got 3 screws. I've got one with a shank on it. That's going to go into here. And I'm just going to use that one just to line us up. Again, I've not tightened it up, I've just put it in a turn until I get them all in. Do the same here. The motherboard I cleaned off with a little bit of compressed air. Okay, now they're in, I'm happy to tighten them in just firmly. Now, what I'm going to do, as I fit every part, I'm going to plug them in. So there's the speaker. That's gone back into place with the wire tucked down out of the way. Okay, let's do the other side. I'll just turn that round. I get the other speaker. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put the screws into my little box and I'm going to give it a quick dust. With a paintbrush. Now I could be yeah, so this is where my inexperience at working on these is going to come in. Now I could edit this out of the video, but I'm not going to, because I want you to see that mistakes can be made. Now hopefully I've got enough here. Nah, I haven't. On the other side I felt the speaker wiring needed to go underneath the main board. Okay, I've got enough lift here now to down like that. There we go. Right, so it is a lift up the motherboard job, because one of the screws to hold this in place goes underneath there. So what we learn here is the speakers have to go in prior to the motherboard. Okay, in you go. Come on, in you go, back into place. Hook you over the top. Make sure the keyboard cable is over the top. There we go, that's just fallen back in. So I've got to make sure I've got my 3 cables that we were talking about earlier. One here, one here, one here. Okay, let's fix it back down again. Long. Over here is a short one, and then here goes a medium one. Okay, so now we've got the speaker. We can plug that speaker back in just by pushing the connectors down. Obviously we've got to plug that back in and plug that back in, which I'm going to do now. Possibly see better there now. Yeah. So we've got the clip up at the back. We're just going to ease that so it goes underneath there. Just get it in. Come on. What I'm just doing, I'm using the back of it where the sticky is, just to sort of guide it in place. The gentlest amount of pressure. I mean, I'm pushing on these little plastic tabs that are built into it, and as you can see, it'll just come in to the whites just showing, and then just push that down and that's done. This here has got to plug into there. There's a little recess on there, just that there. You can just get your fingernail against it and push it. So, monitor cable. These are very, 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 very incredibly easy to damage. And I believe that they're one of the easiest ways to kill a Macbook. That looks right, that looks right. Okay, so we're leaving that unplugged. We're going to plug that one back in now. Okay. Right, so we've got the speakers back in. I think what we'll do now is we'll put the fans in, that little board, so here's number 1 fan. I'm just going to sort of line that up on there I'm just giving it a push. Oh, there we go. Look, do you see how that went in? Now on this one we've got 2 screws to put back in place, one here and one here. This one here has got a shoulder on it so it doesn't go in too far, and the one at the back here is a standard screw. Okay, so that's that fan in. That's connected back up there. So I think this board here needs to go in next. Right, so here's the board. That's going to go tucked in under there and just go like that. That had 2 screws in it. Now I'm going to think about this, where the screws go, because this is going to be picked up on the fan assembly. So I think the screws went there and there. I could be 100% entirely wrong. We'll find out in a minute. Okay, well, there's the screws in. Next thing is the fan. Again, I'm just giving these a quick dust. I'm going to use the block on here to put a little bit of pressure on it. There we go, to get it to plug in. 2 screws. You can see the shank there on the one, possibly, if I haven't just sent everything out of focus. One there. One there. Next thing I'm going to put in is this piece of wiring here. And it just sort of just pushes back in. Really quite nice how it connects up. Comes with a cover with 2 screws, which we know are the right screws because when we took it apart, we put the screws next to it. Incidentally, all of the bits I'm using for this are the ones that came with the battery when I bought the battery. These screwdrivers are. Again, when I'm tightening them, that's what I'm doing. Just a little bit of tightness. I don't want to over tighten anything. And again, a little cover there to stop it coming unplugged. You know, I have to say that there's lots of little things that Apple have done with this just to make it more reliable. You know, yes, they're expensive. You know, you're not going to see a 7-year-old Windows PC changing hands for what these change hands for. But there we go. We'll put the Wi-Fi card in next. That strangely appears to be Aussie. so we're at the point where the next part is the cooler. So we're going to have a look at that. So it's got that on it. All I'm going to do is I'm going to get my blue rag, and I'm just going to just wipe it off. I'm doing it off screen because I don't want it to fall onto the inside of the computer. Giving the little radiators a quick blow through. The next thing I need is this. Just going to put tiniest little P on the top of both of them. It really is one of these, and in a lot of ways less is more. So this is going to go in with the graphics processor bracket on there, and remember it hooks in underneath on this end and then goes down. The first thing I'm going to put in is this one on the left here. The one on the right, which also is a fan fixing, which I'm looking at and thinking, that wasn't holding the heat pipe in. Oh well. Same here. Little rubber bungit onto there. That into there. That's our little silver screw. So now we've got 4 screws to go in here and then 4 screws to go on here. For those of you that may be wondering, I've got an anti-static cable on my ankle. So whilst this bench might not be anti-static, I am. I don't like the ones that get around your wrists. There we go. That is the graphics processor. Clamp that down. And we now do the CPU. Just going to put that on engine loose. Okay, now I'll tighten it up. Same here. Tighten them up. Got these 2 little covers that go. Over the screws. Right, put that back in place there. And then we're going to connect this back into here. So I'm going to encourage these to go back under their little guides around here. There we go. This one here just plugs in. Unlike some of the others, it hasn't got a little clamp round it. It's just occurred to me that I've got a cable under here that I've missed. So I'm hoping that by slackening off these bolts here, I'm going to be able to recover it. So I was just thinking to myself, you know, Oh yes, I haven't done two. I thought there was two of those with the clips over them. There was. There we go, there's the other one. Let's put that back into place. Let's address that. Same sort of connector as the monitor. Just push that in. That's gone in off square, so I'm going to withdraw it because, as you know, clip that down. There we go. Okay, that's sorted. We've got 3 Wi-Fi cables to put on here. These you just sort of find where they're going and they push back down into place. I'm just going to put a break in the video. I'm not a fan of these. They are the most awkward connector to get to plug in. And I'm no doubt some of you out there that are going to go, nah, that's the easiest part of the job. I think I might need to get the big guns out. Okay, as you may see, I've just got a magnifying glass. I see better to line them up. What I don't want to be doing is putting, there we go. So what I'm doing, I'm hooking one side of them on and then pushing them down. I've just used the magnifying glass to be able to see a bit better. So, the theory being now is that if we've done our job right, if we apply some power to this, we should get a dong and an upset Apple symbol. Just want to check everything still works. Probably worth plugging the power lead in to the mains. Got a dong. I'm slightly concerned that we're getting nothing on the screen at this point. Let's go back and check the monitor connector. Oh no, there we go then. That's what I was wanting, because we haven't put the drive in. Okay, so we haven't broken it. The drive in. It went in quite nicely actually. change back for that. Okay, so here's the battery. And just lift that off there. And take this off. When we put it in, we're going to make sure that it hooks underneath everything and sits nicely, and we want to make sure that we align these screws up before any pressure is put on it to stick it down. Now screw these in. Now I'm going to plug this in. Going to give that a push down and remove that bit of tape off there. Finally, we're going to plug that into there and fit the cover. Okay, so I'm looking at this and it's got these marks and scratches on it. But I also have a very nice replacement, so I'm going to fit the replacement and I'm going to keep the original one with the Macbook. But before I put those screws in, I'm going to do one last check. I'm going to open it up and check it comes on, running off the batteries. Touchpad works, and what I'm going to do is check the click works, which it does. Right, this is a key thing for me. Coconut battery. Yeah, it says the battery is in good condition. So we shut that down. So you can see that is a lot nicer now. We'll put the screws back in the base. Right, last job. Try and get this off here. I'll give this a try. This is basically isopropyl alcohol with a little bit of water in it. Not water. Window cleaner with vinegar and all that goodness. Not shifting it. Try some foam cleaner. Nope. I'll come back to that. I mean, it's got it to move, and what's left on there by the feel to me is the stickiness. It is moving actually, a bit of elbow grease. There we go. I don't know whether the foam cleaner did it, but you know what? I'm more than pleased with how that's come out. So there we go then. Okay, let's take this apart. So we've got a connector here that we didn't unplug. This has got one of these that you lift up and pull off, so that removes that cable. Now, popular information on the internet suggests that these batteries are glued in and cannot be removed unless you have specialist tools provided by Apple. I have here Apple Tool XYZ1. I'm going to start at this end and just gently get underneath them, and you can actually leave them up. This one's actually gone quite tight. Here we go, look. Been a little careful because this battery isn't 100% shot. What I don't want to do is pierce it. They're held in with double-sided tape. Now I'm going to take this outside and rip the rest of this off. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I've been outside and I've ripped the battery off it. I'm glad I went outside, it started smoking. So by the looks of it, we've got here some fixings around the outside on this metal plate. Take these screws out of here. Okay, oh, there's two more here. see if this wants to come off separately. Okay, so there's the touchpad. This one, the click had stopped working, and they said it got water ingress, and you can see it there around here, all the corrosion. So yeah, it appears to have quite a lot of cabling going to it. These connectors here and these connectors here. I'm not quite sure what the difference with this is. I've not used the machine that much yet to look at it. So let's have a look at this keyboard. There's a couple of screws here, I reckon. These plastic trims that go around the fans have got to come off. Now, looks like the keyboard's got tape behind it of some description, so I'm going to sort of get into this somewhere. Here we go. Oh, here we are, look. Okay. Potentially doesn't look a particularly healthy thing for the keyboard to do that, but I can't see a way of actually removing the keyboard from the machine. I mean, two tiny little screws there, but try taking them out. See what happens. Incidentally, the wire at the back here has disappeared, so I would say that we probably just ripped the backlight out. Yeah. Or the back of the keypad. I don't think they're designed to separate. So there we go then. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, and please take the time to have a look at some of the other videos we've done.